Hello, everybody, and welcome to Get Puck Podcast. Dave, Matt, Vito, Luca. We're all here. Midsummer. We're still getting set up.
Midsummer. Summer's over.
Obviously, it's been a little bit. We're hitting play, and we're still getting our things set up here. But how you guys doing?
Fantastic.
Looking forward to the season.
Looking forward to the season. I think at the time of recording, it's 50 days out. I think I saw somewhere something like that. Give and take.
The moment the cool air starts to hit outside, that's like, all right, let's get ready.
Yes. But still, we wanted to get together. We wanted to have a little episode. It has been a little bit of time since our last one. We were hopeful. We were sort of promised an active offseason. Trades, they said. Trades all the time. Trades everywhere. There have been few and far between. All of the big action took place right at the beginning of the offseason. We're not saying this has been a boring offseason by any stretch. It just happened all up front, and now it's been very, very quiet. That said, we wanted to get together. We were talking amongst ourselves, and we said, you know what? Instead of just doing it in a little group chat, why don't we do a podcast? So here we are. And so to start off with, something that we were kind of talking about, and some people have been talking about, speculations. But we're going to take it a little bit beyond the Habs specifically, and we're going to talk about the division that they're in. And so my question to you boys is, I would like for you to speculate the point totals of the teams in the same division as the Canadiens. All right? I want to know who you think's going to win. I want to get a ballpark estimate of points. And we got the 8 teams. I got a sheet. I'll write it all down, and then we'll share it at the end so everybody can see it there for those that aren't going to take note and keep track themselves. But we'll start with you, Vito. What do you think? Number one team or the worst team, however you want to play it down. I got the teams. You tell me the point totals. What do you think?
I think the Florida Panthers are going to have the highest point totals in the regular season, and I think they're going to run out of gas come playoffs.
Highest point totals in so not even just for the whole league.
For the Atlantic Division. The focus and the scope is just the Atlantic Division.
Just the Atlantic Division. Yeah. Okay. So also, you're tad bit quiet.
I'm sorry, guys. For the Atlantic Division, I would say the Florida Panthers will have the highest point totals. Is that better? Okay. I gotta start yelling.
I mean, a little bit.
It's a bit of an echo, though.
Don't yell at me. But okay, how many points?
Well, I think the Leafs finished last year with like 108 or something. I'm going to say they're going to be in and around that. 105, 106 points around there.
I'm going on the high. We'll put Florida 106. Okay. And we don't have to make it like a whole big story each time. Like, who's next? What do you got? Who's the next in line here?
Tampa.
Okay.
I'm going to get it to Tampa. I don't think the Leafs are going to be 1-2 because I think their team's worse than it was last year. They don't have Marner, and they just stockpiled a bunch of whatevers. Yes, they do have more depth, but the quality is not there. I mean, at the end of the day, they got lost a 100-point player, or at least a 90-plus point player. So I'd give the Leafs still like a third position, but I would say Tampa second with about 100, 101. I'll go 101.
101 Tampa. All right. Toronto, you got us third. What do you got us for Toronto?
99. 98. 98. Let's go 98.
98 final answer. All right. I haven't heard Montreal yet.
This is where it's going to get tricky, okay?
Okay.
Because the next team after that, I would say it's a coin toss between Ottawa and Montreal. I think, like, if you look at both their rosters, and I'm not going to put my bias aside from Montreal, there's a lot of players that you could kind of interchange there. They're stronger in the middle, in my opinion, Ottawa. They have a bit more depth there, but Montreal's stronger on the wings. And the defense, I'm going to, give the edge to Montreal. So I'll say that Montreal comes in at fourth with 96 points, just passing Ottawa, who would be there at 95. So instead of Montreal battling for 1 to 2 points to make the playoffs, they're actually going to be the ones that are going to be where Ottawa was last year, let's say.
Okay. Montreal 496, Ottawa 5th at 95.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're gonna edge them out. Then it becomes tricky because on paper it should be Buffalo. When you look at who they got, I just feel like they haven't figured it out. So I think Detroit is gonna just edge Buffalo out.
Okay. What do you got Detroit at?
91.
You have 91 points for Detroit. Okay.
Yeah, they're gonna be like similar to Montreal last year against Columbus. They're gonna have that last win, let's say, right at the end, to get them in.
91 points for Detroit. Okay.
Buffalo might come close at around 89, 88, 89, around there, and then Boston's gonna be the worst team in the Atlantic.
Boston, worst team in the Atlantic.
They're
What is
gonna
Boston?
start rebuilding. They've lost their. They don't even have Marchand. They have Pasternak, Lorai, Zajac. That's all they got. They're gonna have to rebuild, and There's even rumors that some of the players and centers that they have are gonna be on the move. So it's not rosy in Boston, and it's time. They've had a very good run and a very good stretch, and it's time for them to stop.
Okay. What's the total?
78.
78. Okay. I reserve. I reserve no judgment. No judgment.
They finished last season with 76. I'm even giving them a bump.
Okay. Very good. Very good. All right. We got it down. I'll run it back. Florida 106, Tampa 101, Toronto 98, Montreal 96, Ottawa 95, Detroit 91, Buffalo 89, Boston 78. Dave.
Me. Okay, sorry.
We're jumping. It's how I put them in order.
All right, I think the Leafs are going to win the division again. They're a good regular season team. I think they're going to have an addition by subtraction with Marner. I think they're going to be better than people think. I don't think they're going to have much more playoff success, but I do think that they will be they're always a good regular season team. And Craig Berube, they play the type of style that they're going to be in every game every single night. So I think they're going to win. Give me a 105 for Toronto.
105 for Toronto.
The points is a weird thing because, like, how do you predict points? I mean, it's a silly thing. But anyways,
it's fun.
We do it. Number 2, I'm going to have the Habs there. I don't think it's crazy to put the Habs there. I think that if you look at the scope and you look at what's happening with the Canadiens, and if you're paying attention, I think they're going to surprise a lot of teams. A lot of teams are going to take them lightly, and I think that they're going to. I mean, like, they were just absolutely horrible for about 60% of the season last year, and they still made the playoffs. And I think this year they're just going to take that second. I mean, look, it's all going to depend on how that 2C fills out. To me, it's all going to depend on if they could find somebody to make it work at 2C. And I'm just betting that they will, or they'll just be able to do it despite it. So give me 102 for the Habs.
The Columbus Blue Jackets for the Montreal Canadiens making the playoffs last season. Just saying.
That was last season.
You could take a lot. Yeah, that was last season.
But Dave has Montreal breaking the 100-point barrier.
I do.
That was what I really wanted to know, how often this was going to happen. But okay, cool. So there's the first time. Okay.
Number 3, just like Florida's going to be exhausted, man. Like they've played so much hockey, and last year they were okay in the regular season. I still think they're a better team than Tampa, so I'm going to give it to Florida, number 3, 100 points. Give me 100 points for Florida.
Did you say Florida was okay last season?
In the regular season? They finished, what, 4th or 3rd? No, they finished 3rd in the... Hold on. They had less than 100 points last year.
Yeah, they finished with 98 points.
Yeah, so there you go. How much would 98 points be in Vito's standings?
That would tie you for 3rd with Toronto.
3rd, okay. So same exact.
You have them at 3rd. So,
yeah. So okay.
There you go.
Tampa, I guess we'll go number 4 here. Obviously, give me 98. I guess 98 could do it.
Yep.
Why not? And then after that, Ottawa obviously has to be there, so we'll give Ottawa 96. Let's do 96 for Ottawa.
Yep.
Detroit, I think, is like, man, that's a team that can go either or. You know what I mean? Like they could be there, or they could also. They're just so. They're so meh that it's just like, man. So I'm gonna have them regress. Give me like 88 for Detroit.
It's hard with Detroit and Buffalo there, because on paper you look and say Buffalo should be way higher, but they just
but it's Buffalo. I can't put Buffalo. I can't put Buffalo anywhere. I put Buffalo number 7. Give me like 82 points for Buffalo, and then Boston's going to be horrible. I agree with Vito. Give me like 75 points for Boston.
Damn.
Boston's going to be off.
5 points.
Wow.
I think Jeremy Swayman is overrated, and I just don't think. I mean, like, they dealt everyone away. They dealt their heart, and this is the year maybe they deal. I don't know. They make some.
Honestly, I think Boston might be a top. They have a chance at being a top 5 pick.
Yeah.
That kind of team. I don't think they'll be worse than Chicago or something like that, but I think they're in the top 5 pick category now. If they happen to win the lottery and end up getting Gavin McKenna, then
I feel like they are. I don't know. I could totally see McKenna in a Bruins jersey.
God.
It just fits. I don't know. I know. I'm not happy about it. I could picture it, you know?
bleh.
All right, so that's
very good. So there's the Dave picks. We'll run it down. Toronto 105, Montreal 102, Florida 100, Tampa 98, Ottawa 96, Detroit 88, Buffalo 82, Boston 75. Luca.
As Paul Heyman said, that's not a prediction. It's a spoiler.
So listening to you two guys, you made me change my mind a couple of times, but no,
Hold your ground, Luca. Don't let us bully.
I will. I still think, I don't know why, I feel like Florida is going to come in first.
They're going to be so tired. They just played so much hockey.
I know, but they're running on a high and on a back-to-back.
Drive for a three-peat.
Yeah, right?
You could do a three-peat by sitting comfortably in that third position. And
I heard it's their game plan, right? To take it easy during the regular season and then like go all out in the playoffs. But
yeah, you got sources?
The first defending Stanley Cup champs to ever think about doing that. But okay,
I still have them at first. Yeah, I have them at 107, 108.
I'm giving you the high, 108.
Price is right numbers.
All right, Florida 108.
Initially, I had the Maple Leafs at 2.
Okay.
Gross.
No, you know what? I'm still going to have them at 2.
Okay.
Look, I know Marner's not there anymore, and that's a big loss. But I feel like, look, at the end of the day, all these points, like the standings, it matters how many times you win the games, and Toronto just wins constantly. Like, they're always just winning. It doesn't matter if Marner's not there.
And they were without Matthews for a good part of last season.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that. It's going to depend on how healthy Matthews can stay, because he's been struggling with his health lately.
It's a Craig Berube type team.
Exactly. So I have them at 2, I don't know, 103, 104, 104.
104.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Number 3, and this is where I changed my mind. I'm going to have the Habs there.
Okay.
At an even 100 points.
Second 100-point season. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why are you shaking your head at me?
Shaking my head at both you and Dave.
Why?
Because I'd rather set the bar low and let them pass it.
It's not about setting the bar, though. It's a prediction. It's not about setting the bar low. It's expectations. It's not your expectation. Matt didn't ask what your expectations are for this season. He asked what your prediction was for this season. What do you think?
Look at the guys. They're, like half the teams practicing the entire summer all together.
You know if Montreal had a bona fide 2C with the acquisitions they made this summer, then I would say, you know what? I could see them coming in being a top 3 team. Okay, but there's still some question marks, and I know we're gonna have our season preview maybe on our next episode, so I don't want to give up too much there, but it's just
Vito. Did they have a 2C last year?
No, they didn't. They barely made it in.
Okay. They were 3 games. Basically 6 points from that third place spot in the Atlantic.
Makes a huge difference.
Okay, but I'm just saying, are they a better team this year than last year?
100%.
Yes, that's why I
put them where they're it's not crazy. It's not crazy to see them go up to third spot like Luca's predicting here, without a 2C. It's not as if they don't have a 2C. It's going to be, obviously they're going to try everything to put somebody there.
It's more about, I don't know if they're going to break the 100-point mark. I think they're going to maybe, like I even said, they're going to come out just shy. They're going to be battling with Ottawa, which Ottawa last year finished with 97 points and they were like 4th or whatever it is. They're going to be battling there versus last year. It was like they barely made it in. This time they're going to be
awful. They were awful last year.
Well, that's why I put them at an even 100, because they're going to break the barrier, but just barely.
All right.
Shake your head at yourself.
All right, so we're at Florida, Toronto, Montreal. What else you got for me?
4, Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay. I mean, they're still they still have an elite, team, but just they're getting a little bit older there. 97.
Okay.
Next up, it has to be Ottawa.
Has to be. Okay.
Yeah. Bit of a drop off on the points there. I think it's going to be like around 90, 91.
We'll put 91 for you.
So
Yeah.
91 would mean that if you compare it to last year, they just make it into the playoffs.
Yeah, that makes sense. In my head, it makes sense. Next, I agree with you guys. Detroit is just ahead of Buffalo just because Buffalo is just it's become a kind of like a joke. Like, oh, they're so promising, and just like they fall flat every year. So
When you hear Buffalo's going to win the division, everyone's going to be so confused. They're going to come out and
probably.
Shut them off for like 4 straight years again.
like idiots.
So Detroit, 86.
Okay.
Then I got Buffalo, just because Boston, like I think everybody agrees they're just not going to be there. Buffalo, I don't know, 80.
Okay.
And then Boston's going to be absolutely garbage this year. I think 72, 71, 71.
I'll put you on the low, 71. All right.
Yeah.
So you got Florida winning at 108, basically taking over Toronto from last year.
Mhm.
Then you go Toronto 104, Montreal 100, Tampa 97, Ottawa 91, Detroit 86, Buffalo 80, and Boston 71. Okay. Very interesting, boys. Very, very interesting. I did the exercise ahead of time myself.
Okay.
All right, let's hear it.
I'll run it down and I'll show you. So I have Florida winning it. Yeah, I do.
They're going to be so tired.
I honestly think that there's that drive with this team, and they all came back. I don't know how you can say anything other than that.
It won't be.
It won't be easy. It won't be easy.
Kachuk gets surgery and he's gone for like 3-4 months. But
admittedly,
he might
we'll
Mark
see.
Stone himself.
Some guys got contracts that were on contract years and stuff, and we know how that happened. I don't know, but I got them at 104. I have Toronto second at 101. I got Montreal at 99. I teetered giving them 100, and then I'm like, you know what? I don't want anybody to say anything like, yeah, 100. So like, I think 99. Tampa Bay 97, Ottawa 94, Detroit 89, Boston 80, Buffalo 77.
Wow.
And I'll say this just to say, my heart bleeds for Buffalo. It does. I want them to be good. I do. I legitimately do. I like the city of Buffalo. I like their football team. I like their hockey team. And I think the fans deserve something. I really do. But they're cursed. They're cursed. There's something that happened. I don't know what they got to do. If they got to get an exorcist or something, I don't know what. But I can't, in good conscience, not put them in the basement. Boston is going to be better than I think people think. I think most people like Luka, they're going to be bad and they're not going to be in the playoffs, but I don't think they're going to be the dumpster fire people think they're going to be.
They were a dumpster fire last year and they're worse.
And I feel like they want to be a dumpster fire this year.
Well, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm completely off base. And you know what? I'll be happy to be wrong because I hate Boston. So that's fine. but I really, I just think those two are interchangeable. The interesting part, and I wonder if I could just pop this up and share it real quick while I talk about it. Let me just do this fast. Of course, I don't know how to do this here. So hold on a second just to try to share something. Wow, they make this very complicated. Hold please, 2 seconds. Here we go. And done.
50% of our viewers.
Don't worry about it. Solved. So you should be able to see it now. There you go. I put it on a nice Google Doc here. I don't know if I can make it. No, it's just. Oh, I could probably do this. There you go. There you go. So for those on the YouTube watching, we just pulled it up on a very elegant Google Doc sheet here. So this is from last season. This was the point totals from last season. This is what we all put down, and you'll notice a lot of similarities. So what I think was most interesting is if you look here,
we all have in the same place. Detroit in the same place.
Pretty much. You guys also are identical in your 8 and 9 for the most part. I'm the only one that's a little different. And up here we got 3 Floridas. You got your Torontos up here. There's basically a lot of similarities. The points also don't fluctuate too much either. So we're all more or less saying the same thing point-wise, which I think is fascinating. But team-wise, we all have Montreal basically making the playoffs, maybe except for you, Vito.
No, they make the playoffs there.
Based on last year's numbers, yeah. But 96 is a step up, but not a big step up, I guess I want to say. And we all have them.
It's not that Montreal was the team that improved the most in this offseason of any team in the league. They did improve. The problem there is that the Atlantic Division, the teams ahead of them, at least what you see listed there, are just as good or better still and have more experience. So at the end of the day, the Montreal Canadiens still are the second youngest team in the entire NHL versus the teams that are ahead of them have the experience and have the vets and have certain superstars that are ahead of where Montreal is at right now. So for me could they surprise? Yeah, they could surprise and maybe end up the way Dave has them listed or the way Luca has them listed or whatever. But I think comfortably I can say that I think they're going to make the playoffs. They're going to be in a bit more of a comfortable position than they were last season. And they're going to have a bit more of a, it won't come down to the last game. It'll come down to maybe a few games before. And they have that team to do so. So that's how I see it. 96 points is in the playoffs. And it's not fighting necessarily for a wild card.
Okay, so I'll say it like that. We all had them in the playoffs. You had them making a little bit of ground versus last season, where I think the three of us all look at it as they made significant progress. Almost you got over a 10-point leap in one case, These are big jumps. This is like a significant push forward in the team. They have arrived at that point. This is no longer rebuild mode. I think they're there now. You hit 100 points, you're a playoff team, man.
Like I said, if they end up addressing from here till the start of the season the 2C, and we're not like questioning whether it's going to be Alex Newhook or Kirby Dach if he's healthy enough, and they actually have somebody who could come in, be productive. And it's not somebody who basically should play on the third line or the fourth line for that matter, then my number might change a little bit. But right now, as it stands with the roster that they have, with the players that they have and whatnot, I'm comfortable saying the number that I said there and where they're gonna go. And that's not to say that you won't have a better Patrick Laine. That's not to say Zachary Bolduc might not produce or do something like this. I think everybody's gonna check the boxes and hit what they're gonna have to hit. It's just that.
Okay, but you mentioned something fantastic there. You don't know about the 2C and like what's going to happen there and who they bring in. I offer up Jared McCann. Latest rumor, latest thing that people are talking about. Some people are like, "Oh, fascinating, out of nowhere, interesting, former 40 goal scorer, ooh la la." But other people are suggesting he's not really a center; he's playing mostly wing. Doesn't fit the profile necessarily what you want. Other people are arguing, yes, he does. Lefty, did play center. What do you say to that? Is this somebody who interests you? Or does it, or perhaps is that a player that, if it does interest you, you can see if he's on the roster, your point totals, do they change?
Are you asking me or are you asking everybody?
Well, I mean, because you were mentioning if they bring in a different guy. I'll start with you again. So yeah, like what did you, if that's the guy who comes in, do you change your 96?
I think I wouldn't change it that much because at the end of the day, Jared McCann is not somebody where you could look as a bona fide 2C. However, he does have more experience at the 2C or at least I would feel more comfortable with him at 2C than maybe Alex Newhook, who's been below 50%, and by no means has Jared McCann been above 50%. He's been like maybe 1 or 2% more than Newhook and whatnot. My concern is that they would go with Jake Evans as the 2C until Kirby Dach would come. So I'd say that you're still looking at a similar point total. Maybe you're gonna bump them up to a 97 or 98 only because Jared McCann's production might bump them up enough in a couple of games where he scores a key goal that just gets the win or even gets the tie or brings it to OT is what I mean. But just, I don't know. It's still not the 2C that I think takes them over the top.
Okay. Luca, how do you feel about Jared McCann?
I kind of agree with Vito, to be honest. It's, I don't know. I think I've said it in a previous episode where like it's just not the name. Like that's not the kind of name that I would go for. I'm not excited about it. Not really. I don't think he would be a huge upgrade over what we have, to be honest. Like he had 40 goal season one time.
I think one time. Yeah.
He played like for 4 teams now, 5, 4.
Calling me out. I don't have that.
If he gets
definitely
to Montreal,
3.
it would be his 5th.
Okay,
Yeah,
so 4. Yeah.
I mean, those are red flags for me, but whatever. I just wanted to bring up a point, though. Vito, you said 96 will get them into the playoffs?
Yeah.
Calgary didn't make the playoffs last year with 96 points.
You're talking about 2 different conferences.
I know. I'm just saying. Anything could happen.
You got to work with the division on this.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm not saying no.
Okay, all right. So
I just want to say this about Jared McCann, too. Yes, he only has 140-goal season. But he's got 29, he's got 22, he's got 27. He produces.
He's a goal scorer.
Yeah.
He's a goal scorer who was basically forced to be more of a playmaker last year because Beniers wasn't keeping up. And he's still a guy that if you look at his last 4 seasons, it's been 50 points, 70 points, 62, and 61. And at $5 million for 2 more years, you can find a lot worse in the NHL.
Do you think the max potential of Kirby Dach is better or worse than Jared McCann?
That's not. See, I think that Kirby Dach's upside and potential is higher than Jared McCann, or at least in production, it's in and around that.
Right.
The problem with Kirby Dach is the same problem that it's been since he's got into the NHL. The guy can't stay healthy. So if he can't stay healthy and you have that question mark and you're going into a season that it's supposed to be a season that they're going to take another big step, and they lose that guy without a solution there to jump in right away, or your solution's Newhook or Jake Evans, Montreal's in trouble, especially if they want somebody to help be productive or take away some of the defensive responsibilities from Demidov in his first year. Because that's an important thing for Montreal this year. They want Demidov to be in the best position possible to succeed.
Yeah. Thing is, what would you give up for Jared McCann?
I don't even go down that road yet. I just want to know if you think he's a fit. What do you like? Dave, what do you think of Jared McCann?
Look, Jared McCann's an okay player. Yeah, he's a 40-goal scorer. He could put up goals. He could put up points. He's just not what the Canadiens need whatsoever. It's, again, them scrambling to address a problem, and then you acquire him, great. It doesn't matter what assets go out the door because they have assets, okay? You can figure it out. At the end of the day, though, it's just another body that's there. And it's another body that's there that you're going to have to work around, that you're going to have to try to fit. And it's just at this point already, you already have some 2 options at second line left winger. And I don't think he's a 2C long term or even in the short term, maybe. But I don't think it just doesn't fit. It's just you're trying to get somebody and force them into a role, and which the Canadiens are notorious for always trying to do. Kirby Dach is a perfect example of that. They put him up as 2C as soon as they got him. He's going to be that 2C role, and it hasn't just worked out. They tried it with Jonathan Drouin. They tried it with Alex Galchenyuk. It's just you got to move past these things of trying to fit people where they don't belong. Jared McCann has proven what he is at the NHL level. You put him with guys, and he's going to score some goals, and he's going to put up. But he's a winger. He's a winger, and in my estimation, like it's just if you put him there and he does okay, how do you go and trade for another 2C down the line? How do you go? It jams everything up, and it slows the progression of everything. And I don't like it. There's something in me that it just doesn't make sense. You got to leave room for people to grow, for additions to come in. And if you eventually move him to left wing, well, he's not going to play on that second line most likely because Line is there. Whatever Vito says, I think that's going to be his position this year. So that's third, but Budzik is there. Budzik is there. So where are these guys going? You know what I mean? And I know it's
if he comes, it's to be center, but that's it.
I understand, but that means they're done looking for a 2C.
Yeah.
That's a problem to me. Because
it's not your guy. He's not the guy.
He's not solved that problem to me. I don't think it's and then I don't think it's fair to Demidov to have him with a guy who's trying to figure out a position again. Like it bothers me. These guys should be flying and not having to worry, and that's why it bothers me that they didn't go get a 2C, and it worries me if they just go plug somebody in there. That then they're done. They're like, how are they going to fit a 2C on the? I know you can move pieces down the line. It just complicates things, and it's not what the Canadiens go for. To me, the rumor doesn't make much sense, and I don't see them doing it. but I've seen crazier things in the NHL. So who knows?
Without question. Ultimately speaking, I think when you look at it, it's a guy whose age is the right age. Maybe a year or two older than you would have liked, but generally speaking, I think he's 29. He's under 30 years old. The salary makes sense. Goal scoring prowess makes sense. But the biggest thing about this, the reason why I also echo your guys' sentiment of not being a fan, he's not a center. He plays wing. He's a winger that can play center. You need a centerman to be your 2C. You need a guy who that's what he does. You need a playmaking, driving force because you're going to set them up with a Demidov on the side. You're going to have hopefully a Zachary Bolduc, or if it's Line A again, so be it. But these guys need to be fed and scored. I mean, I don't know what it's going to be, but I still believe, given the track record 2 years in a row now of Kent Hughes in and around this time, late August, making some pretty big acquisitions, I think if you don't see something in the next couple days, Kirby Dach's your man. That's what they're doing. They're going to give it a shot again and hope to ride it back and hope he stays healthy. That's my belief.
I don't expect to see anything happen until
the price contract moves.
The price contract moves.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of that too.
When that contract moves, then I expect another move to follow, because the rumors are coming out more and more that Kirby Dach, he didn't have a setback, but he's likely not going to be ready for at least another month.
See, I've read both sides of this. I've read the guys who come out and they're talking about, oh, he's had a major setback. I've seen the counter arguments. I don't think anybody knows. I don't think you've seen video of him. I don't think anybody knows what's happening with him. I think they're keeping it way under wraps, and they should. They should keep it under wraps so that they don't come across in trades, for example, coming from a place of weakness, saying you're desperate for a 2C. You guys have that whole Kirby Dach's not ready. They don't want no one to know.
I don't think any team would look and say Montreal's desperate for a 2C, because there's several teams out there in the league that are all looking for the same thing, and they're all looking for a 2C.
Well, that would just imply that they're all equally as desperate. I mean, it's an obvious hole on this team. It's the biggest hole on the team now.
Montreal wants a long-term 2C unless it's like a McTavish of some sort. They would look for a stopgap, hoping that Michael Hage is 2-3 years away from taking in.
Yeah, I mean, unless if they get some veteran in some weird deal that comes in that is not a long-term thing, but is a legit 2C, I don't see many of those things.
Travis Zajac.
Something of that ilk, perhaps, but I don't know, man. I don't know what it could be. I honestly, I have no conception of what's until we really start moving this thing forward. In my mind, he's either going to do something like the McTavish kind of thing that we keep talking about and hearing about, and that's it. There's your team, or you're going to ride with what you have, and they're going to look during season, or they're going to look in the next off season, or whatever. But
McTavish is the player, and I was saying it even before last season ended, that McTavish is a player that if the Montreal Canadiens could target, go for it. But there's obviously other teams that would want him. Plus, there's Anaheim that's not willing to just let him go, and Montreal would have to include at a minimum. You're looking Reinbacher has to be part of that deal for it to even happen, or for Anaheim to even entertain it.
Maybe. I mean, time will tell, right? Ultimately, I think we're entering the time of the offseason where it's gonna start. You're gonna start hearing more of these things, these rumors that are gonna come out, and everything's gonna start being kicked up again. It's inevitable. We're only a two weeks ish away from the start of September. This is when action starts to kick up again. And to your point, once that price contract, if that price contract gets moved, I think that's going to open up a tremendous amount of movement potential on the Canadiens.
Speaking of centers, NHL Network just released their top 20 centers in the NHL right now.
I saw that.
Yep.
And Captain Nick Suzuki came in at number 10.
10. Moved up from 16 the
16,
previous year.
exactly.
And is ahead of Jack Hughes. Is ahead of, hold on, let me pull up the list again. Is ahead of Jack Hughes.
I don't know about that one.
Don't know about that one either.
I don't know about
Robert
that one.
Thomas, Sebastian Aho.
That's okay with. I'm okay with those.
I'm okay with that.
I'm
okay with that. I'm okay with that.
Stutzla,
Yeah,
Rupi
I'm okay with those.
Ottawa's going to be pissed. Who's the next one?
Tage Thompson,
Wow.
Macklin Celebrini, and
Well, okay.
Sam Bennett.
Oh, yeah.
First off, Macklin Celebrini had a fantastic year.
He did.
Fantastic rookie.
Yeah.
But to put him in the top 20 already,
Yeah, stupid.
It's
that's
a little.
bit nuts.
It might be a bit premature. I'm okay with most of those names. I think Jack Hughes is a bit of a reach, and even Timmy
I think Jack
Stützle
Hughes dropped
is.
because Jack Hughes last year I think
Yeah.
fell 6th. I think he dropped because he got hurt. It's
Well, yeah, of
another-
course.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
the
yeah.
recency bias for sure.
Yeah.
It's
Also,
reasonable.
you need some clicks here. You need some clicks. You got to remember, you got to take these lists with a grain of salt. And there's always going to be one or two crazy things in these things because
Get the
you
fan
can't just-
bases going.
you can't just have a normal list. It's not how it works. So you gotta take it with a grain of salt. But yeah, I mean, I'm okay with almost all of those. Jack Hughes though is
Jack Hughes I think is way too low. But anyways,
the knock on Jack Hughes is like we said, he hasn't had a healthy season.
he gets hurt.
in like 3 years.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy regardless whether official list, true lit, doesn't matter. It's nice to see, a Canadiens player get some recognition. That was cool.
So it's good to see Suzuki finally getting some recognition.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep. So we're very happy to see that. I mean, we're bringing it to the end of the episode here, but we could have dove into the fact Lane Hudson getting snubbed from the Team USA, Caulfield, however, being invited. A bunch of these types of things.
I gotta say this for the Vancouver fans. I know he had a down year, but to not include Elias Pettersson there, it's a bit weird on that list. But it's okay.
We'll see.
Not
Maybe
celebrating.
this season is the comeback season for a lot of guys. It'd be fun to see. There's a lot of redemption stories out there to watch, and it'll be fun. But we're not at the season yet, and we're still in the off season. And hopefully, we can reconvene, gentlemen, again, and it doesn't take another 2-3 weeks. And maybe by then, something good will have happened in the off season, and we can talk more in depth about
We were
that.
on summer break. Dave was allowed to have summer break. All right.
But it's coming, Dave. The season's starting. It's the season starting. All right. I'm just saying, you're gonna have to be around now because this is it. This is the exciting time.
I'm
This is
always
where we
around.
get pumped up.
I'm always.
Yes, it's not.
You guys just gotta
It's not-
have a curfew, a later curfew,
It's all of us. It's
later
all of us.
bedtimes.
Life, man. Life. Anyways, thanks very much, everybody, for tuning in. For those that have asked, we're still here. We're still doing it. We appreciate you guys checking up. And please let us know in the comments what you think might be the outcome of the point totals and the rankings. You don't have to give the points if you don't want to. Just where do you think the teams are going to fall in the Atlantic Division?
Do you want Jared McCann?
And do you want Jared McCann? Yes, that would be the question that we would like to know. And if not, if you got other names, as always, let us know in the comments. Like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. We appreciate you. We love you. Thanks very much. Keep enjoying that summer. And until the next time, for Dave, Luca, and Vito, I'm Matt. And this was Get Pumped.